my God. Wow. The biggest short covering rally of 2023 is here, baby. We just confirmed. Let's look over some charts and let's dive into what I have been saying was coming, but now it's here and I'm super excited for it. Let's check it out.
Secure the bag, yeah, that's the brand, and we get to the bag.
What's going on, family? It's your man Taystway here once again, and this is the STB Market Watch. And oh boy, are we watching a beautiful market, right? This is great. This is one of those things I really love because if you have been following along, you kind of see how it's playing out. Now, every now and then you'll see that it may take a little bit longer for our analysis to play out, and I'll show you on the charts how long it took for what we were looking for to happen. But ultimately, price action is our friend, and it gave us exactly what we were looking for, okay? And I'll put it somewhere on one of these corners. I'll tag the video where I mentioned us going up to about 4,200, 4,220. And like it was like 2 weeks ago, so we're a little bit behind because we chopped for about 2 weeks on the ES, and I'll show it on the charts, all right? But nonetheless, what do I see when it comes to this short covering rally, and how far can we go? Because it's about to go. All right. So let's dive into the charts. Let's check it out and let's see where we can go. Why am I saying we can go there? And are we headed there immediately, or do we need to pull back some? Let's check it out. All right, family. So as you see, we have the ES. Of course, every video pretty much I make sure we chart the S&P 500 futures. Now, I was doing it originally, of course, because, we were checking and doing, market close hours, which is market close. Both markets are closed right now. So the futures market and the actual stock market is closed currently. But normally, while the stock market is closed, we can check out the futures, okay? So that's why we normally watch the futures versus the S&P 500 the SPDR, or the SPX. So because those are closed. But with the ES, we usually track this, and that's where a lot of my price targets have been coming, okay? So that being said, what am I seeing? What happened today? And oh my God, where are we going with this thing? All right. So let's have some fun because it's going to have a really big impact on what we can do as far as what I've been seeing here. Okay. So I'm going to just shrink this thing here. All right. Pause. And then what we're going to do is we're going to look at this inverse. I've been calling it over and over again. There is an inverse head and shoulders pattern playing out right here, right now. It's been here for the last, 4 months? No, excuse me, pretty much for the last year. It's been here, or it's been playing out since the last year. And here we are. It's here. This is for anybody who doesn't know, inverse head and shoulders pattern is, I don't know, probably for the last 100 years, probably since I've backtested, I could say the last 100 years. This is one of the patterns. Head and shoulder and inverse head and shoulder. This is one of the patterns that's been playing out since I've backtested, which I've backtested as far as 1920s, okay? And I've seen this play out even back then. So this is something I'm super excited about because it's played out in history over the last century and a half, right? Since we've had charts, I'll say that. And I mean, it's looking great. So let's check it out, okay? So our neckline was here at this green line that I drew, all right? Neckline is here. I actually like that we closed above it today. That's what we were looking for. And as you see, it has been holding resistance for a long time, okay? And essentially, now that we just closed above it, what that does is that kind of sets think if this was a light, and a light is there, it's dark in the room, but the light's it's not bright. It's not showing any light. So it's still dark. I need the light. Well, flipping the switch on turns the light on, which makes the room brighten up so you can see. That candle right here, closing above this neckline, just flipped the switch so we can see. All right. So where's this thing going? What's my potential move up? Well, one of the things I like to do, and this is very unconventional, and a lot of people are going to think I'm crazy for it. I get it. I get it. You just have to backtest this stuff a lot, and the best way I can explain it is when you backtest some of this stuff, you'll know how to do it. All right. And what I mean by backtest is a lot of people get on not a lot, but a few, trolls or just people who just want to be, critical of me. They say, oh, it's easy to check a chart that's not moving. It's like, no, this is what we call back testing, right? And what I like to do is I like to look at my patterns. I like to look at price action, and I look back years and years and years and years ago, and I see how it played out. And once I see that this same thing keeps playing out, keeps playing out, keeps playing out, boom, when it plays out, when the chart starts moving in present day time, I have conviction now because I've seen it happen 30 times, 40 times. We call these confluence points, okay? And before I get into where we're going, let's dive into confluence points really quick. And let me break down for people who don't know what that is. Confluence points are similar to, okay, I like my analogies, so let's dive into some analogies, okay? So confluence points are similar to what someone is looking for to be, I guess, to validate the hunch that they have about something or someone. Let's dive into the analogy. All right. So, for example, my ladies do this a lot. When a woman wants to see if her man is cheating on her, she needs confluence points. Right? She needs confluence points. I did this in STB and the crowd went nuts. They loved it. Right? So, comment below if you like this analogy and you want me to do some more analogies, because I like doing my analogies because it helps it to make more sense. So, watch this. So, a woman, she is, she's in suspicion that her man is cheating. She thinks he is, she thinks he's cheating, but she can't put her finger on it, right? She's like, I think you're cheating. I know you're cheating, but I can't get crazy right now. But the more things she sees that justify that you are actually cheating, the crazier she becomes. Why is that? We'll dive into it. So, you come home, you smell like perfume. She's like, that's not your fragrance. That's a woman's fragrance. That's crazy. She didn't say much. She just check a box. Okay? Check a box. She might not even say anything to you. Check a box. Okay? Next day, maybe next week, okay? You show up, you got a piece of hair on you that's not her hair, and you don't have long hair. So she's like, whoa. Whose hair is this, right? Confluence point number 2. She's like, okay. Last week I had a confluence point because you smelled like another woman. This week I got a confluence point because you got, a piece of blonde hair on you and my hair is black. Whose blonde hair is this, right? And what tends to happen is you keep getting more and more confluence points, or the fellas, y'all are giving this woman more confluence points, the messier you are with your cheating, right? So you come in the next day. Not only did you smell like another woman, not only did you have, a piece of blonde hair on your clothes when you came in and that wasn't her hair, but you also, you come in the next day and your phone rings unexpectedly. She picks it up and there's a woman on the other side of the line that says, hey, baby, right? Uh-oh. Confluence point number 3. Now she really starts to get crazy. Why? Because she has 3 confluence points now. And now she's like, you know what? He's cheating. There's no guessing. No, he's cheating. Because she has more confluence points. Now, she still may not say anything. She may just keep stacking these things up. And 6 months later, she'll have a whole list of things against you because she has confluence points. And now she gets crazy. And you're wondering, hey, man, why you acting so crazy? You're getting crazy right now. What's the problem? What's the problem? What's the problem? She's acting crazy because she has confluence points that pretty much justify what she's been thinking to begin with, right? And that's what I tell my students in STV. I say, listen, the more confluence points I get on a chart, the crazier I get. All right? The more confluence points on a chart I have, the crazier I get. Now, I like to make these parables and these analogies because it actually plays out in like everything we see on the charts, everything we tend to see when it comes to technical analysis, stock market, trading, it actually plays out in life. These are things that play out in life. So you'll see things that play out in normal life. People wonder why we're talking about relationships, because it plays out in life. Everything. If you can handle a relationship the right way and you can emotionally handle yourself and keep your composure in a relationship, especially a tough relationship, you can do the same thing with trading, right? Because trading is not just charts. Trading is a list of roller coaster like emotions. I'm happy, I'm sad. I'm hopeful, I'm not so hopeful, right? And it goes up and down, up and down, up and down. And what our goal is to be able to control those emotions as much as possible and then take that and trade what you see on the chart. So I don't care how good you are with your actual charting. If your emotions are like this, charting really doesn't matter, because you get too excited or too, crazy. It just messes with your trading. Okay. So with that being said, one of the new things before we dive back into the charts, one of the new things that I want to implement and just continue to use over time is paper trade. Everything that I say, I don't care how convicted I am. I don't care what it is. What I want you to do is I want you to paper trade everything that I say. Follow along, because the more you paper trade and the more I'm right, or the more you see that I'm right, what then happens is your conviction grows. Your confluence points on me grows even more. And you can realize, man, this guy is on to something. He's good at what he does. Oh my God. Right? Wow. So once again, make sure that everything you do, don't put any real money on the line. Don't follow my lead with real money. No. I want you paper trading only. That is not just a suggestion, excuse me. That is not just me suggesting that. I don't know why I can't say suggestion. But that is almost a demand. I demand you to only paper trade anything that I am saying here. Okay, from here on out. Because I need you to have conviction. I need you to see that what I'm teaching, it's good, right? So we're going to scratch any of the previous trades that you might have taken just based on something you heard me say. Don't put no real money on it. Paper trade it, paper trade it, paper trade it, and then take what I've been teaching, and then you need to learn and figure it out. So in the future, you start trading with real money on your own, because now I've taught you something. That's what these videos are for. I'm here to teach. All right. So let's dive back into the charts. I don't want to get off on my, soapbox and ranting and whatnot. So let's dive back into the charts really quick. Okay. So getting back into what we were talking about. All right. There was a head and shoulder or inverse head and shoulders pattern that just broke or just got initiated. Right now, that is the most bullish sign that I've ever seen. Right, it's one of the most bullish signs, and I do think we're about to have a short covering rally. It's about to be nuts. Okay. However, before I get into that, I'd like to see a pullback. I'm not buying this, and if it takes off without me, cool. I'm okay with that. I am totally okay with that. All right, totally fine. What I'd like to see is a pullback. I want to buy you somewhere in here. And what that means to me on the ES, that is about 40.90-ish. I want to see you around that 40.90-ish range before I touch anything. I need 40.90, then I'll start buying, right? If you don't give me 40.90, I know go anywhere, damn it. All right? I need to see 40.90 at least. What we can expect also is this is custom across the board, right? People see this. Any trader who trades head and shoulders or inverse head and shoulders patterns, they usually put a stop loss at the most recent shoulder, which will be right here at about 38.28. So yes, I'd like to see 40.93, 40.90-ish over the next, I don't know, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. So going into June, I'd like to see a test back to that 40.90 area before I get in. If it just wants to take off and go to where I think it's going, which is 4,800, do your thing. Cool. I just missed out. I'm not buying this right here, though. I'm just not. All right. So yes, we are bullish. Yes, things look great. But if you back test these things, you'll see what I'm talking about. All right. I'm not going to give you the answer to all of the tests. Go back test head and shoulders patterns. Go back test inverse head and shoulder patterns and tell me what you see. All right. So I've already given you enough sauce. Tell me what you see. Now, here's where my sauce gets a little different than most people, because most people don't do this. All right. I like trend lines. Number one, I've already said this. This is something that I used to do in when I traded penny stocks. This is something I used to do back then. I still do it. Shout out to my people who are penny stock traders. I got a lot of love for y'all because I know how hard it is. But this is something I used to do back then. Okay. And I still do it now. Now watch this. Okay. The hoes gonna love this. All right. So what I like to do is take my previous trends. Okay. And I start setting price targets based on my previous trends. Okay. Once again, the hoes gonna love this. All right. So based on my previous trends. Okay. Now I know it's getting a little nutty because people are like, oh my God, Tay, what's going on now? And this is where my matrix starts to come in, right? I start decoding the matrix with this. Now, I like trend lines because this is how I played, back in the penny stocks. And I could tell you where stock is going and pretty much win based on these trend lines. Why? Because trend lines tend to always get followed. I know it sounds crazy, but they do. They do. All right. So, what I like to do is I just want to put recent price action in here. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up and look left and see where is the market trying to get to. Is there a gap above that we're trying to close? Yes, it is. I can tell you now, but we'll get there. Is there a gap that we're trying to close? Is there some recent price action that we need to go back and visit to pick up those orders? What's going on up there? Let's take a look left, see what's back there, and then what I'm going to do is draw a line out and see where it meets with my previous trends. All right. Now, I'm not done with my trends. So what I'm going to do to make them a little more distinct, I want to change the colors on my trends, right? Here's another trend. Okay. We're going to make this one white. So this was a channel. This was a channel. And look, it supports it, right? Or now that was resistant. Went down, got into another channel, blew out of the channel. Look, came back up, touched it. Right? And some people would consider this, it's not technically a pitchfork, but there's a pitchfork indicator that kind of does something like this as well. I like to do it on my own, right? So because what you'll notice is that, yes, these things tend to follow. So support. I'm only going to do this one. I'm going to consider this support, my resistance now. And what we see now is we have trends going to the upside. And now what I want to do is look left, see where my most recent candle or my most recent maybe gap is sitting, and see all of the gaps that we got above. And those are going to give me price targets. All right. Once again, you paper trade this, damn it. Do not put any real money on this. You paper trade this, see that it works for yourself. And then once you figure it out on your own, you don't need me to tell you what to buy or where it's going. You could go and find it on the chart for yourself. So while I'm teaching you, you paper trade, right? You paper trade. Because I don't want to hear nothing from people. I lost. I was trying out a new strategy that Tate taught and I lost on it. That's why we paper trade. New strategies only get tested with paper trade. We do not trade new strategies with real money, right? So let's go up and let's see if we can find some gappy gaps. All right. Now there's a couple ways that I can do this. Okay. A couple ways that I can do this. And or what I can say is what I'd like to do is just go, because y'all know I like to follow the hour trend or the hour chart. Okay. So what I'm going to do is look at the hour chart. We're going to go back. Now I know this is wonky. Some of y'all are like, Tay, I have no idea what you're doing. That's okay. Just watch, baby. I got you. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up here and we're going to see what kind of gaps that we have. All right. Let's see what kind of gaps we have up here. Okay. Let's see. 4,300. Any gap? Oh. There's one. We're trying to get there. There's one. So I'm just going to identify these gaps. Right. And when the ES gaps, it's nuts. It's probably already closed it because the ES doesn't like to hold gaps long. No, this gap has not been closing. Good God. And we're on the way back to it right now. So you try to get back here. But right now, that's exactly where we're heading. All right. So what I'd like to see is this gap filled first. Look at that. We are right there. Okay. So this gap is trying to get filled. That's what that is. Okay. So that's like a very immediate price target that we'll put on the boards. That puts us at that gap getting closed is 42.28. 42.28. So that's one gap. Let's continue. I'm not done at all. All right. So we have that one gap. Let's see what else we have in here. All right. And this is the beauty of back testing. Please back test. Back test. You'll be surprised what you see when you back test. All right. What we're gonna do, we're just gonna keep going back because I want a higher price target. All right. Because I already told you. We want to like 4,800. I think we're getting ready to try to test all-time highs. I put that in the Microsoft video. I just did a stock analysis on Microsoft. Microsoft's going to all-time highs, which is what I see. And I think the ES / the S&P 500 is going to follow suit. So let's get into it. Let's continue to get into it. And let's see if we can find some higher gap. Oh, baby. There we go. Okay, 4,400 closed. I'd like to see it come back to 4,418. That is my first one. Here's a gap here that I like. Okay, I like this gap. I like that. Right? Who is that? Shout out to Mr. Hotspot, man. Dude is hilarious. I love Mr. Hotspot. It's a funny thing that he's very positive, but he's funny, right? It's a funny guy. I like that. Like that guy. All right. So, um, here's another gap that we need to close that we're trying to reach. 44.77. Okay. Now, I'm just looking at these gaps because what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and then I'm going to look at my trend lines and I'm going to tell you how soon we can get there based on my trend lines being tested. All right. Stick around. I got you. All right. So we'll get over 4,500 and then we need to come find some more gaps. All right. Here we go. Gap in here. What is that going to do for me? Okay. Close trace. We might try to get back up here and close it again. I'll leave that one out just in case. I don't really like that one because it's already been handled. Let's see. I want to say we have one more leg up that we can look at before we test all-time highs, and that should have been in January. Yeah, here we go. So yeah, this is January. Shout out to my STB folks. We caught this. I know people think I'm, crazy when I say stuff like this. We caught this move down, right? And tonight, so I have a class tonight, free class tonight, for the anniversary. It's the STB anniversary, right? 3-year anniversary of when I actually started teaching the public. I've been teaching for years, privately, but publicly, this is when I started STB, teaching the stock market publicly. All right. Here's a gap also that we were able to take advantage of. So I called SPY puts. I called puts on the S&P 500 on January 3rd for STB. I said, give me 8 months out, SPY puts, or the spider. Some people y'all call spider. And we wrote them down for, 8 months. We made a lot of money on that, right? Well, as we were falling, I saw that there were definitely some gaps up here that needed to get closed, right? And look, this gap has yet to get closed. So there's a gap in here that I'm waiting. I'm waiting on now. Let's see. Oh, baby. Okay. For those of y'all who are in STB, y'all know I've been teaching breakaway gaps and different type of gaps. I'm not going to name them all, but I've been teaching gaps probably since the beginning of time because that's what we use with penny stocks. All right. We use that with penny stocks. That was one of our favorite things is gaps. So here's our all-time high, right? All-time high. And I'd like to see this get tested really soon. I'd like to see it get tested really soon. Now, for me, I'm a big believer that it's going to get closed really soon. All right. When I say really soon, it could take 8 months. Right. So don't hold me to, and we're about to see. So I'm making all of these boxes, right? And what I'm going to do is now we're going to go back to present day time on the daily chart. And I want to show you exactly what I'm seeing. All right. Let me make sure these boxes show up on the daily chart, because if they don't, then we're going to come back and redo all of this. So see, there it is. So we need these boxes to show up on the daily chart. And I tell you what, just for time purposes, what I'm going to do is go to the 4 hour. All right. Now my lines to show on the 4 hour. And now we are getting ready to start having some potential price targets. Here we go. Okay, so I'm excited about this. I'm not going to lie to you, right? So what I like to see now is, or what this shows me is that based on just the previous trends, us going back and holding resistance on these previous trends lets me know the potential time frame that it could take for us to hit these trends, right? Or to hit or retest these same trends. So look at this, support. Okay, support was broken. We never tested that line. What does that mean? That means that someday, I remember that, someday, I'm a meme fan. I like the memes, all right? Don't judge me. Someday, we're going to get our butt up here and test this trend line, okay? Someday. And this is one of the ways I do it. Once again, it's not the only way. I'm going to get somebody who's going to nitpick and say, oh, Tay, this is your analysis. It sucks, right? That's how you trade. There's no way you can be profitable. Hey, I don't put everything that I know on the internet, right? I got some other sauce that I teach to my students, my one-on-ones, my private people, right? We got other ways, but these lines also help me to identify exactly what I'm teaching them, okay? So I'm showing you that here today, all right? So based on these lines, just a few of these lines, like I said, it could take time for us to get up here. I'm expecting all-time highs, yes. So what I'm going to be expecting, you see how these are starting to cross. Okay, so what I'm looking at here is, what's this? This is the 4 hour, so it's not giving me too far out. Yeah, I need to go back to the daily chart. Hold on, because it's not giving me too far out. But what you'll start to see is as we get above that all-time high, which we got a gap that we need to take out, what you will start to see is that all of these lines will start to play. And what we may do is we may bounce in between these, once again, holding this same support from back here. And what'll happen is you'll see price action play in between these, right? And what I could tell you is that I can expect a price target of, I think that's a little high, so I don't want to go too crazy with it. But I will go, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say 6,000 at my super highest. I'll say 6,000 somewhere in here, right? Somewhere in like January 2024, February 2024. Sounds nutty, I know. All right, sounds crazy. I get it, I get it, I get it, and I get it. But hey, I'm telling you, my targets, they hit. Okay, we have another one back here. If we want to go a little bit more conservative, because I'm sure people like, Tay, there's no way. It's no effing way. All right. What you can see here, support, 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 support. Broke it, resistance, 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 got above, support, 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 broke it, held resistance, and then it leaked. So this white line right here, which I'll turn into a green trend line now, can be a more conservative price target for the next, I don't know, year, right? So I do think we can see all-time highs once again. So I'm going to call it 5,000 at least. I'm going to say 5 to 6,000 on the ES, which is futures, the S&P futures. 5 to 6,000 is my price target for the next year. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. All right, I don't think I am. So what I'm going to be looking for is for us to bop and bop and bop in between these, right? If it breaks and goes to the downside, the rule was broken, and that's cool. Stop. It breaks rules all the time. But right now, it's following trends, and my trends get followed. They just do. So what I like to see is, once again, right here, June 2023, right? I'm going to expect, if we don't get a pullback, if we don't get a move down, we're going to start expecting this thing to start bumping against this June, July. Let's say June, July. And I mean, that's really fast, though. I'll be honest with you. So it may take a little bit more time. That's too fast. I can't give you that one, right? But as we stay in between, so I'm going to make this red line green. As we stay in between our greens, though, what I'm going to expect is some kind of movement, because you see we're holding it. I'm going to expect some kind of movement like this, right? Once again, this stuff can take, I mean, it can take months to play out, right? But I'm going to be expecting something like this, right? And once again, it can just kind of lean in like this, right? But March 2024, maybe even, I don't know, let's see, March, maybe even like May. I'm going to give it mid 2024. I'm going to expect this green area that's dancing. I'm going to expect that green area to get followed. Once again, I could be wrong. I could be wrong, which is why I told you, paper trade only. I demand of you. I'm not telling you I suggest it. I'm telling you I demand you paper trade anything I teach. You want me to keep teaching? You paper trade this stuff, right? Because I don't want to hear anybody saying that they're trying out new strategies based on what I'm teaching. They don't know how to use the strategy. They're just looking at this, and then they lose real money. Paper trade, paper trade, paper trade, paper trade. I'm gonna emphasize that from here on out. Paper trade, paper trade, paper trade. And then as you're right on your paper trading based on what I'm teaching you, then you can come back and tell me, Tay, all my paper trading has been spot on based on what you've been teaching. So now that I know what to do on my own charts based on what you've been teaching me, I think I'm ready to trade real money based on my personal analysis, not Tay's analysis, right? So that's the goal. The goal is for you to learn new skill sets, paper trade it, practice trade it, go back test it. And then once you do all of that good stuff, then you can start putting some real money in. But when it's on Tay's time, when I'm teaching you this, your study time is not going to be with real money. You're going to study with paper trades. Okay. I'm not lying. You better do it. All right. So these are my targets. This is what I'm expecting. So Once again, these are very lofty goals. These are very pie in the sky craziness, that we're talking about here. But they follow everything that I have. I mean, when I tell you this, I mean, they follow it. There's your 4,900. I mean, if we go to a 1.6 extension, oh boy, there it is, the 1.6 extension of the field. I mean, good God, this is going to be beautiful, right? So once again, this is my price target. All right, 5,300. You heard it today, 5,300. But guess what? I think what we're going to do is we can see as high as that 6,000. But I think let me just go conservative because they front run this thing a lot. So I'm going to go 4,900 to 5,300. Because big money, they'll get in there and they'll front run. Okay. And what that means is they'll jump ahead of the target. And right when you holding to get to 5,300, they'll sell it. And you're like, oh my God, the market's falling. And you didn't realize it. So that is my analysis. That's what I see for the day. Once again, I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. Once again, if you like what you heard today, you want me to keep teaching, please show some love, baby. I'm going to be here teaching. Once again, I'm blessed. Look at this place, right? I'm blessed to live here. I'm blessed to be here. I got a beautiful family. I make money trading. I've done this for a while, and I just want to help. But one thing that makes me show up and continue to teach and help is the pat on the back, the hand claps, the follows, the likes, the love, right? The love. Because let me tell you something. There are always going to be haters. There's always going to be somebody who wants to bump their gums, right? They're going to troll me. They're going to do all of these and say all of these negative things. Those things, they affect me too. Even though I kind of brush them off, they still affect me. And if I notice that they stick out more than the love, then I'll start kind of fading back. Like, you know what? I don't want to do this. So just make sure that the love outshadows the haters, and we good, baby. I got you. I'll keep showing up. I'll keep teaching this stuff. All right. So I love y'all. Once again, be sure to comment, like, subscribe, do all of that great stuff for me. Show some love, baby. I'm going to keep showing love. All right. And if you want to see more from the channel, I'll put a box somewhere up here to click and go check that out. Other than that, I'll see you on the next one. I'm out.
Secure the bag, yeah, that's the brand, and we get to the bag. These